That's how Cowboy fans do it. All the CanFan maniacs out there.
How about them Cowboys?
We walk what I'm calling Dallas Cowboys corridor. As you can tell, we are at a Cowboys home game. Yes, I understand that we are in Los Angeles, Inglewood, technically SoFi Stadium, but this is basically AT&T West. So follow me this way. We're gonna see if we can find a couple of fans. We are infiltrating enemy territory. The Cowboy fans are doing it right. We got the signage, we got the great food, we got the inflatables. Thoughts on today's game?
We're gonna beat the shit out of them.
Woo! You see this right here? How do you feel about today's game?
We better win, that's all I know.
How do you feel about Dak Prescott after last week's performance?
Dak Prescott has been very consistent with the division. He has took us back-to-back 12-5 seasons. You know what I mean? He has winning records above. You can say what you want about the past 7 years, but on our division, he has been owning it for years.
Are you a Dak rider or are you a Dak hater?
Before he broke his finger, I was a rider. Now, nah. They need to let him go now.
You know Dak Prescott's watching this right now, right? Actually follows the CanFan podcast.
Look.
Let's go!
We got him, son! Let's go, baby! Cowboys Nation, son! Let's go!
Cowboys Nation represent!
Cowboys Nation represent! Let's go! Get out of here!
Crack him if you got him.
Crack them if you got them, son. All day, every day.
Crack him if you got him, Seattle.
Here we are at Lumen Field. And is that a Harry Potter reference? Maybe. I don't know. I've casted a lot of Lumen spells.
Lumen videos.
We want to see Deuce represent. We want to see him repeat. I want some repeats. And I don't need 3 beats if they repeat.
I don't need 3 beats.
I don't need
if
3
they
beats.
repeat.
If they repeat. Let's go.
You don't think we're gonna make the postseason?
Maybe wild card.
So this is
Maybe wild card.
This is where I'm like, I'm good for a good ribbing, but like to say we're not gonna make the postseason, now I can't even argue with you because you've sucked. Oh God.
You know it too. You know it.
Who's your quarterback?
Fucking we got
This is our year.
Look at those dudes! Look at those dudes! Look at those dudes! Look at those dudes!
Let's go! Let's go, Cowboys! Let's go, baby! Cowboys Nation showing up!
Most pristine athletes in modern history playing in the NFL. Even the offensive linemen are incredibly athletic. I mean, these guys are over 300 pounds, and you know they can
Not only the size, but the speed of the linemen? Are you kidding
fly
me?
on the field.
You're telling me a guy that's 330 pounds, meant to block a guy that's 290 pounds, is faster than me, a sporty 240?
High 240. High 240. High 240.
I could beat any one of those guys right now, and I've drank a 6-pack.
What? You're wearing Crocs!
My 40 time is better than any of them.
Erroneous! Erroneous!
Erroneous!
Erroneous on all accounts!
I've never been more sure of anything in my life.
How'd I do?
13-5.
Final quarter, here we go, baby!
CD for the CD, baby!
And I'm going for 2. Woo! I don't know why my safety was just playing off so far.
Tackle him!
Yeah, well, I might be a boomer, but you sound like a pipsqueak. You don't even know how old I am.
No!
You little shit.
You didn't win the game, I lost it!
Make sure you know where he is because he understands how to
Call
get
that a
open
throw?
in key situations.
I might be old, but at least I don't still piss my pants.
Protect you and your loved ones with Crackem VPN.
Ever heard the game Marry, Kill? Okay, like, yeah, I'm gonna give you 3 people, and you're gonna decide who will you marry, who will you who will you kill?
Okay.
Jerry Jones, Dak Prescott, and Tony Romo.
Marry Jerry. He's got all the monies. Probably Tony. Dak Prescott.
Anthony, Adam, AJ on the block. Dallas Cowboys swag, about to rock the flock. Canadian hosted them Philly birds get mocked. Cowboys CanFan podcast game locked. Crack 'em if you got 'em, pop tops and chill. Vancouver reppin' Dallas, show some real skill. Knockin' Philly chirps, we roast them on the grill. Crack 'em if you got 'em, hear the buzz and thrill. Big D.
Oh, hey, well, that's our non-Victory Monday theme song. Welcome to the Monday Hangover.
AJ and I look like we're in the same place.
Yeah, are you guys in a hotel or something? What's going on?
We're in a hotel room just chilling. Yeah, we decided we got out of town. We had to get out of Dodge after last night's shameful performance by Cooper Rush and the Dallas Cowboys. Shameful. I'm going to say shameful.
Yeah, 66 total yards of passing between 2 quarterbacks.
Terrible. I was expecting it to, and I mean, we can get right into this. I was expecting it to be. Let's be real. We all expected the Eagles to win, but
yes,
for the quarterbacks to combine for 66 passing yards, I don't think anybody saw it being that despicable. Like, to throw for under 100 yards in the NFL is hard to do. In today's NFL, it's tough to do. They give you every benefit to throw the ball. So for a team to get held to 66 passing yards, I can't remember a time that has happened. I think the worst last year was, Dak Prescott had a game where he was like 90 something passing yards against the Buffalo Bills, but 66 yards between Trey Lance and Cooper Rush, and 3 turnovers between the two of them. You had the Trey Lance interception and then the 2 fumbles. Just a terrible outing, man.
Well, Ad, you had the total yards, 146 total yards. Just you can't win a football game.
That was their total yards, including rushing and passing, 146 yards. We've had running backs run for more than that against the Dallas Cowboys this year. And as a full team, they put out an output of 146 yards. And the crappy thing is, for the first 30 minutes, the game was relatively close because the Eagles scored just before halftime. So even the first, I'd say 27 minutes, it was a 1-score game. So we were right into it. The defense was playing half decent. The offense never looked good.
Yeah, when you look at, like, obviously the Eagles scoring 7 in the first, 7 in the second, and then 14 and then 6. And obviously post-game we were talking a bit about how the defense for the Cowboys showed up, but there's only so much you can do for so long when the offense isn't scoring that you get worn down, and then all of a sudden it starts to become a blowout. Because a lot of the comments, we do our post-game reactions, and in the comments it's like, defense did well, we hung 34 points on you guys. It's like, yeah, okay, obviously the score doesn't reflect what we saw there, but there were some positives on the defense with it being so banged up, and it just felt like that our offense just could not get it together. We could not get any yards, we could not do anything out there. So
the issue with that is, like, people are saying the defense gave up 34 points. It's because the offense couldn't extend drives. So your defense is only going to be able to hang on for so long.
Yep.
They're only going to be able to hang on for so long. And the Eagles went in at halftime and clearly made some adjustments, came out, scored. But Trevon Diggs had an interception. Micah Parsons had a sack fumble. So there was moments in the game where the defense was keeping the team alive and at least with a fighting chance. And Cooper Rush just couldn't even throw it's like he forgot how to throw a football. It was hard to watch. You watch the highlights of him, and he's skipping passes. He's throwing high and away. He's throwing behind receivers. It was just hard to watch. And the only saving grace is we can say that Cooper Rush or Trey Lance weren't going to make this season any different if they decided to have stayed with them and not extended Dak Prescott.
Yeah, I mean, look, although you called out 2 turnovers, we can't win games when we have this on our side for stats. 5 turnovers.
Yeah, so they showed they talked about it. The last 2 home games, the Dallas Cowboys have 10 turnovers and 0 touchdowns. Their last 2 home games.
What? You're not winning games for that.
That's an insane stat, man. To even give up to give up the ball 5 times in a game, and then for that to happen twice in a row, but in those same games to not score a single touchdown, that's wild, man. It's absolutely crazy.
Yeah, Bandwagon Baba says their halftime pep talk was, okay, guys, remember, we are organically losing. Sorry, Wade, I had to get that in there. Mom likes
it's a perfect comment. And you are not going to get everyone on a team to go out there to lose a game. Players are not going to go out there to lose a game. But what I'm saying is it's hard to get the players to tank, right? But they don't need to do it with this team. You saw there's it's going to be really rough here with Dak Prescott out, and there was nothing from that game where you were like, okay, Cooper Rush just needs to shake the rust off. No, he's we didn't see anything out there that looked positive, that you could look to the next game and be like, okay. I guess I shouldn't say that. Rico Dowdle had a fairly decent game, a 4.4 yard average. Then they started running Zeke though, so who knows what's going on. But it's I don't think the Cowboys need to try to tank. They can do that all themselves with this team.
Well, it's crazy that we're gonna the Cowboys end up playing the Panthers and the Giants again, and I hate to say it, but we want to lose those games now. Like we do. As far as the Giants and the Panthers go, they are both picking. The Giants secured the 2nd overall pick by losing to the Panthers, but we play both those teams, and if you beat both those teams, the Cowboys are more than likely picking, I would say, maybe just outside the top 10. So we're in uncharted territory right now. The season is officially done. Like it's over. Yep. It doesn't matter if they're not mathematically out. They are. They're mathematically out in my brain. There's no hope or copium, as some people were pointing out that we had. The season's done, and all we have to look forward to is a good draft pick, I guess, in April. As shitty as that is to say at the start of November.
Hell yeah. Do want to give out big props to Micah Parsons and DeMarvion Overshown. He's been a very bright light. Both of those guys got 2 sacks. I missed one of Micah Parsons, but he ended up with 2. So, welcome back to the team, Micah. And
the best part about it is the video proof that you were in fact there in the room for both sacks cheering.
I'm just, I think it was just something that was exciting, and so it was like, yay, a positive for the Cowboys. But I remember us discussing on after it happened, being like, oh, Micah has 2 sacks, so.
No, I agree. There was a point where we knew that he got the one, and then we're like, oh, we were talking about who has the sacks, and then someone brought it up.
He had the sack fumble.
I know. So on that one, that's where we started to discuss, like, oh, Micah has 2 sacks. Oh, Micah's actually having a good game. We thought it was his first one, and it's crazy. It's crazy to think that, and there are people out there that are still giving a bit of hate on Micah for his podcasts, and specifically like even his post game interview comments. But we're a better defense with Micah Parsons out there. Well, they were asking about if Mike McCarthy is going to be the coach next year, and he essentially said that's above his pay grade. He can only worry about the players, what the players are doing. And then he went on and he kind of took a little bit of a pot shot, saying, Micah feels bad for vets like Zach Martin, who we want to be able to hold a trophy up for them this year, and it's probably his last year. It could be his last year. Mike McCarthy can go ahead and get a job somewhere else after this year. And Zach Martin's done more than Mike McCarthy's ever done. Like it was something along the lines like that.
Well, why don't we here? I can
don't
get
think-
it and send.
I have it
can
right
send
here.
it to you.
I have it right here.
Well, then you should
Okay,
play. Well, then
I'll play
instead,
it.
you should just
let's
play it
listen to it.
instead of.
Well, don't get mad there, sweetie. Let me put it up here for you. Can you guys hear this though?
Again next year.
Yeah. No.
But all coaching aside, Mike can leave and go wherever he wants. But
Ad was giving his description of it. I think it's pretty shitty for him. He should have just not said anything. It's fine to be to say, yeah, my it's above my pay grade, but then to go and say that Zach Martin's done more than Mike McCarthy's ever done. Mike McCarthy was a head coach of a Super Bowl winning team. So I just feel like that's kind of a little bit of a lowbrow shot taking, like you said. He knows he's gone. He knows Mike McCarthy's gone. But to go ahead and just take the high road, just take the high road. Yep. He could have ended it saying, I feel bad that guys like Zach Martin, who might end up retiring, aren't going to get a chance. He could have just ended it at that, to be honest.
Yeah.
Right.
I think, and I'd have to hear this, but just from the past, I think the problem with Micah is the way that he delivers his thoughts sometimes. It's not necessarily what he's thinking or what he's meaning. So I want to hear what he has to say. And if we can't get it up and running,
well, no, I can. Yeah, everybody else can hear it, but you guys. So I don't know why it's not routing over to you guys to be able to hear it. But let me just play it right here for the sake of it.
Put the closed captioning on. I can read it.
I kind of feel bad for guys like Zach Martin and guys who might be on their last year on their way out. Because that's who I wanted to hold the trophy for. You want to win games and do great things with those type of legends who put in more time and work than Mike McCarthy ever did. So those are the kind of guys that I have so much sympathy and hurt for.
You guys were 2-2 when you got hurt.
So
that's a weird thing to say. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It just seems like he could have just ended it at being I feel bad for guys like Zach Martin, but to then double down and be because he's done more than Mike McCarthy has ever done. Just seems like a weird thing to say. Unless Mike McCarthy's completely lost the locker room, which at this
I think
point,
he has.
You got to think he's kind of has.
I mean, you look at some of the play calls that we're making on offense, and that's an offensive coordinator would have been probably let go by now, right? So he's the head coach, offensive OC. So, ultimately, the problems outside of not having Dak Prescott, I do think the game would have been far different, regardless of what all the Eagle fans in our comments are saying, that the game wouldn't have been different with Dak Prescott. It absolutely would have. I mean, Dak plays completely different against rivals.
The Eagles have lost their last 6 home games, have lost the last 6 times in AT&T Stadium against Dak Prescott.
Exactly.
So to say that he wouldn't have made a difference is kind of
well,
it's just being blinded by bias.
So
if we look, I was just going to say on that, if we look, the first half ended 14-6 with how the Cowboys were playing on offense. And you can just look at the numbers and see they were dog shit. So if you don't think that Dak Prescott couldn't have put another 7 on the board there, and then obviously the tail of the tape is the last half of the game, Eagles score 14 in the third and 6 in the fourth. Again, that third quarter, it's just such a terrible one for the Cowboys. Cowboys ended up not scoring. So add another 14 on there, and then let's say they don't fumble on their 15-yard line. So take away 7. I think the game would have been a lot closer with Dak Prescott. I don't know if we would have won, but certainly, Dak would have put up a way better competitive edge than Rush and Lance combined. So
he would have had more than 66 yards passing.
Totally.
Oh yeah.
And hopefully not the 3 turnovers, even though he was having some issue with turnovers. Did you guys also see or hear about Jerry Jones's comments after the game also?
Yeah. Also too as well.
Do you have that one keyed up at?
No, but keep talking. Set it
so
up. So
Jerry Jones was interviewed after the game. Not only there was a couple things he was interviewed about. He was interviewed about the blinds or the sun, which was a big topic, which both teams have to deal with the sun, right? So I don't know how much you can put into this. Both teams have the sun shining in their eyes for at least a quarter. So everyone bitching that the sun was a factor of the game. I don't think it was. Is it annoying and kind of a weird thing to even have to talk about when you have this multi-billion-dollar stadium that has blinds that can cover the sun, yeah, it's weird to even talk about it. And it's weird that Jerry was quoted as saying, "Oh yeah, so I'll just tear the building down and build a new one then," right? Instead of just being like, "Yeah, maybe we'll use some blinds." So it's just this weird stance that he has on this whole situation. And it did affect the Cowboys yesterday, as Ad has there right there. CeeDee Lamb had the sun in his eyes and missed a ball. But again, both teams have to deal with it. But also Jerry Jones talked about, kind of had like a little side shot talking about how Dak wasn't playing good in the offense either. And the question was about how Cooper Rush's performance and if they thought Cooper Rush was going to be able to perform in the offense. And he just kind of went off on Dak instead of answering the question about Cooper Rush. So it's very strange right now in Cowboys Nation. There's a lot of back noise. And again, when the times are good, you kind of, the noise kind of gets drained out. But when the team is doing awful, you're going to hear all of it. So,
yeah, it's not. I mean, nothing is good right now coming out from the post-game interviews, especially if you got your coach losing the team, if that's what it is, and then you have basically Jerry Jones is going to war against the media, is what's happening, and he's starting to like attack his own players. That's just odd.
You can't win games with 5 turnovers, Jones admit. Philadelphia is a high caliber team. We're not up to it. I don't know if this is the one that you're talking about.
And he's not wrong there. He's completely right. You can't win games with 5 turnovers because you give the Eagles 5 extra possessions essentially. So he's right on that aspect of it.
Did you say there was 5 turnovers in last game as well?
Yeah.
Yeah, against a home game. So last home game. So it was against the Lions. Okay. So not against, they didn't have 5 turnovers against Atlanta or 5 turnovers against San Francisco, but it was the last 2 home games. They did.
This is Cowboys wide receiver. So this is from John Machota off of X. Cowboys wide receiver CeeDee Lamb on the sun at AT&T Stadium. I couldn't see the ball. I couldn't see the ball at all. The sun. Oops. Let me just stay on this article. Is he in favor of curtains? Lamb, yes, 1,000%. Did you talk to Jerry Jones about that? Lamb, I mean, y'all doing my job right now. So then a frustrated Jerry Jones had some comments about the sun impacting play at AT&T Stadium. By the way, we know where the sun's going to be when we decided to flip the coin or not. We do know where the damn sun is going to be in our own stadium. And then they go off to talk about why not put up curtains. And Jerry Jones says, what, we're gonna build a whole new building? He goes, well, let's tear the damn stadium down and build another one. Are you kidding me? Everybody has got the same thing. Every team that comes in here has the same issues. I'm saying the world knows where the sun is. You get to know that almost a year in advance. Someone asked me about the sun. What about the sun? Where's the moon? Oh my goodness, Jerry Jones.
Oh, wow.
Press close on the probably $50 million curtains that you have up on that stadium. Like,
what do you think? What do you think the curtains cost in that place? You think about it like something crazy?
At least $2 million a curtain, or
$2 million for.
You see how big? You see how big that? So it's going to be electronic. Like I guarantee you, it's a couple $1 million per curtain. Has to be.
I mean, at least they get really pretty pictures of when the sun's coming in, and
you know what? He's not wrong. The stupid thing to say is build a new stadium. It's like, no one said that. Just put curtains up. But every team does deal with sun. Outside games, or like Levi Stadium, for example, they don't have any cover on that field. If the sun's out, where it comes out every day, guys. Jerry Jones knows, and he knows where it is. So it's not necessarily a big deal because it is something, and especially the Cowboys, it's their home grounds, like it's their home theater, if you will. So stadium is what I'm trying to say. So, they should be the team who knows that stadium the best, and they're used to it. But yeah, just I don't understand his comment there about tearing the stadium down. Do they already have curtains?
Yes, they do.
Yeah, okay, they use them. They use them if there's like a daytime concert or something, or a concert in the summertime. They'll put them down. So they exist.
Of course they exist. It's Texas. They have to have something to block that sun out.
It'd be funny if they only used the curtains when it was an advantage to the Cowboys. So
They put
when they're on offense, they'd put it down, but then when the other team's on offense, they stay up. That would be funny.
I have a couple of comments here from Ultra Cowboy that are pretty good takes. I want to get your guys' thoughts on these. Can I read some off for you guys? Since this is Hangover and you guys are both, I mean, you guys are looking at each other right now in your hotel room. So tell me if we're good. Okay. So he gives a bold prediction to start. He goes, bold prediction: Belichick will be the head coach and Dable will be his OC. I don't think Dable's going to go anywhere. If anything, it'll be Daniel Jones out, and Dable will probably stay in there. That's not what I wanted to take. So he's talking about evaluating the team. I'm just going to read it off in order here. Play this O-line prior to the draft. Guyton left tackle, Tyler left guard, Beebe center, Bass right guard, Richards right tackle. Time to evaluate. He says play Bell and Thomas at safety. Time to evaluate. Cut Cooks, play Mingo and Flanoy. Time to evaluate. And then he says Mozzie actually played well yesterday. I don't have an eye test on Mozzie. I remember AJ yelling at him at one point, but I don't know if if AJ remembers yelling at him.
No, Ultra's right though. This is the total time to start figuring out what you have. Why not? Terrence Steele sucks. You may as well see who else can play at right tackle so you can trim the fat of Terrence Steele next season.
Yeah, you have the whole idea about evaluating your team that you have today, so you understand what you need to do to draft this coming up draft. Like that's the best thing we could and should be doing right now.
Yeah, but the guy that's running the team or the head coach
doesn't give a shit.
He's not going to. Well, he's not going to be here next year, so he doesn't give a shit what they got or who they should evaluate for next season.
So one of Jerry Jones's comments. So again, when you look at it, and I don't know who took the pot shot, but there's another team that had 5 turnovers yesterday and still won. The Lions. The Lions had 5 turnovers. Jared Goff threw 5 interceptions, and they still came out
in the first half.
In the first half, so they still came out with a W. So that's he was what the third quarterback since Tony Romo in 2007 to be able to do that. The other one was Matt Ryan. So there are teams that are out there to win. The Cowboys are not in that position. Jerry Jones says, I haven't seen anything good about firing a coach mid-season. It doesn't do anything well. Well, of course it doesn't. But if you're telling me that you could get rid of Mike McCarthy, bring in a potential coach that can start to make those evaluations with half a season to go or less than half of a season to go, but still some like actual games with your current roster to prep for the draft, doesn't that seem like the best move? Get Mike McCarthy out of there and start to assemble the 2025 Cowboys coaching staff. And even if you don't have a coach that you're in talks with, like he's probably not going to go out and get Ben Johnson. It's probably going to be too much money, and the Cowboys aren't forward thinking in that way. But whoever they are going to get is either out of a job right now or they're on the current staff.
I would say, yeah, like I agree. Don't make any moves right now in the coaching staff because you do have to look forward to that next season. Hanging on to McCarthy, like Jerry Jones, in my opinion, needs to win someone who wants to come play for him, and it's going to be difficult for him to find a coach who wants to come play for the Cowboys if they don't have the control that they would on another team. Like, if there's a choice between a team where you get more control over the players and your decision making, or you got Jerry Jones as your GM, you're going to go to the other place, right? So I say you just hang on to him for this season, but starting conversations with coaches, absolutely. Because if you go ahead, fire McCarthy, bring in someone else, he's just going to be here for the rest of the season. You're not going to get your best option. And the Cowboys might not anyways, like I was saying. I don't know how many coaches would want to play for Jerry Jones, but at the end of the day, we have to wait for those coaches to be freed up. So unless it's someone internal, right?
Well,
like unless you're going to take Al Harris or something and move him into that position.
Which I can't see them moving someone. Hopefully we don't put a Mike Zimmer as our head coach. But I'm thinking like there are coaches.
Well, that's just that's a lateral move, I think.
Yeah.
Right. You're not really doing anything good there.
You're not gaining anything at all. I just wanted to quickly say the highest graded Dallas Cowboys in Week 10 versus the Philadelphia Eagles. Who do you guys think was the highest rated player?
Micah
and then I'll
Parsons.
read them out. Micah
Parsons are Overshown? Okay.
So, well, interesting enough, Overshown wasn't even on the top 5. So this is the PFF grades. Micah Parsons was 90.5. Trevon Diggs was 77.9. Chauncey Golston, 76.6. Rico Dowdle, 73.8. And CeeDee Lamb, 69.7. So if somehow Overshown didn't even have a higher rating than 70, which I find very surprising because he seemed to be all over the field, but maybe his pass protection. I can't think. Pass coverage wasn't as good. So that could have dropped him down a little bit. My brain just shorted out there. Do you see that? It was like, I couldn't think of what I was trying to say.
Nice thing about Overshown here is he leads the team in solo tackles with 43. He's got second most tackles overall, like solo and assists at 67. Kendricks is the most at 78. So,
and he's not.
That's nice to see. 2 linebackers.
Yep. And so there was a little bit of a scare with Overshown kind of getting banged up. He's okay. He should be fine and will be playing against the Houston Texans on Monday night. So that's the next game, guys. Monday night against the Houston Texans. And it doesn't get easier. Yeah. You got the Texans, you got the Commanders, and I believe you have the Giants are the next few games. So it's like, it's not going to get any easier. It's definitely not going to get easier for Cowboys fans. I have a feeling a lot of Cowboys fans are off the team this year and probably won't even watch another game. But CanFan will be still doing our game streams, our hangovers, and our main events because we got to stick it out. That's just how we are.
Yeah, and look, let's try to keep some sort of excitement because I liked what Ultra Cowboy was saying there. If we do get to see Flanoy out there, if we do get to see Johnny Ringo Mingo, if we do get to see, he mentioned some, I think it was some safeties too. Marquise Bell coming in.
Bell and Thomas at safety.
Yeah, let's do that. I think that will at least make these games exciting, even if we're losing, because we can look forward. If we're just putting out guys who, if we have guys who are meant to be moving up in 2025, let's start seeing them now. Because then we can be a little more excited about watching these football games, right? Even if we're losing, it's like, okay, great. We got. I think
we just got to keep the mixed drinks pregame. The old mixed drinks pregame will keep us going into the game.
Yeah, hour before game, we're doing the Bessie bar. And look, you finished off the rest of my vodka that I had there, Anth, and then Alex and I basically drank 3/4 of my aviation gin Deadpool edition yesterday before kickoff. So
hey, that's how we went into it.
I'll have to bring another bottle then of something good.
That's okay. I have lots of hard alcohol. So hard bar it for a bit. I mean, I'm gonna re-up on some Drip, who is the official drink sponsor of Cowboys CanFan. So we'll have.
And we got to apologize for Drip for coming on, joining us this season. After 3 12-5 back-to-backs or 12-win seasons, back to back. Drip's like, okay, maybe this will be a team we want to put our brand on. Well, we apologize, but look, you're with CanFan, Drip, so don't worry about that.
Final thoughts on this game, fellas, before it's in the rear view.
That's it. It is in the rear view.
Okay,
on to Houston, baby.
That's a solid answer. On to Houston. We will be back for the Wednesday night main event at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. You can find us on all social media platforms at Cowboys CanFan. And like I said, we're going to be here all season. We don't give a shit what the record is. They could have 0 wins. They could have 100 wins. CanFan will be here all day long, baby.
Crack 'em if you got 'em.
On the grid.